All right, welcome to Speak for Yourself. I'm Jason Whitlock. That is Marcellus Wiley, that dude.
Yes,
Coming up, we'll tell you what Tiger Woods' big win this weekend really means.
And if the Patriots are in serious trouble, but we start every show with a Whitlock. So what you got today, big dog?
I got the best team in football, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Home cooking.
I got the team that's better than even the Rams, the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, let's stop rolling your eyes.
I am.
I see you out there comparing these 3-0 Chiefs to the Kansas City team that started 5-0 last year behind Alex Smith's 11 TD, 0 interception start. Those Chiefs finished 10-6 and lost to the Tennessee Titans in the first round of the playoffs. That team has nothing to do with this team. That team didn't have Patrick Mahomes as starting quarterback, the Steph Curry of football. Like Curry, Mahomes is the offensive engine that turns a perennial also-ran franchise into a potential dynasty. Mahomes is what separates the 3-0 Chiefs from the 3-0 Rams. Jared Goff is a hell of a player in Sean McVay's system. Pat Mahomes is a hell of a player. Sunday, Mahomes wasn't particularly sharp. He missed some open receivers. He almost threw an interception. Seriously, there were a few handful of plays where I was like, hey, man, this dude's almost human. Then there was this. Mahomes is running some sort of obstacle course, and at the end, he unspools a laser for a touchdown. In the history of the NFL, here are the quarterbacks talented enough to do that. Roger Staubach, Steve Young, John Elway, and Aaron Rodgers. Jared Goff can't do that. He can't make chicken salad out of chicken scratch. Mahomes is Kansas City's best defensive player, too. I didn't misspeak. Patrick Mahomes is KC's defensive player of the year so far. He puts so much pressure on the opposing offense and quarterback that the opposition makes mistakes trying to keep up with the Chiefs. Yesterday, with the 49ers trailing by 2 touchdowns, San Francisco quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo was unsatisfied with a 13-yard scramble. So rather than duck out of bounds, he planted his left leg and chose to collide with a Chiefs defender. Yep, he injured his knee and is likely out for the season. Patrick Mahomes made Jimmy G try to do too much. It's not just Mahomes, it's the entire Kansas City offense. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt, Sammy Watkins, Andy Reid. It's the best offense we've seen in the NFL since Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, and the Rams had the greatest show on turf. Once again, the difference is Mahomes. He's just more talented than Kurt Warner. The NFL is a league totally driven by QB play. I concede the Rams have a better defense than Kansas City. So what? Does it matter how good your defense is when Steph Curry's on a 3-point binge? The same goes for Patrick Mahomes. When he ignites, the opposition has no answers. The Chiefs are the best team in football, better than these high-priced Los Angeles Rams, Marcellus.
Man, stop.
That's how I see it,
well,
as a fan and a journalist.
Well, as a fan, and look, I could type real fast, so does that give me some journalistic credit or something? I've been behind a typewriter a few times. What I have seen is a Kansas City Chiefs team play against the Los Angeles Chargers. What I have seen in person also was the Los Angeles Rams play yesterday against the Los Angeles Chargers. And what I have seen is that the Kansas City Chiefs fall short of the Los Angeles Rams in the most important column. Look, I give you respect and credit for what you said. Because of the play at the quarterback position, which is the most important position in football, Patrick Mahomes is a better talented Jared Goff. I'm not making that argument. But last time I checked, even in cliche, it's still realized what wins championships? Defense. Okay, and not only defense, but if you're going to win a championship because of your star quarterback, please don't try and win that same championship with the 32nd ranked defense, which is the Kansas City Chiefs right now. So even if I give you Patrick Mahomes over Jared Goff, even if I say, okay, I give you the argument of weapons, then I look at the defensive side of the ball, and you have no argument, and that's what's going to.
I do have an argument.
That's
I do have an argument.
The playoffs. What's
I have an argument.
Let's hear it.
Did you look at the third down statistics for the Kansas City Chiefs? Right now, the best defense in the NFL on third down.
Yes.
That's the money down.
That is the money down.
And so Marcel, I'm a little bit surprised to hear you go with this defensive card, the way you done beat up on Khalil Mack all year and these pass rushes.
They don't have the same quarterback, but I hear you.
But to me, Marcellus, when that Andy Reid offense overwhelms you and where the league is now, and I agree with you that defense is highly important. The cliche, the defense wins championships, is true, but we're dealing with a totally different NFL right now than in previous years, and I think Andy and the Chiefs are leaning into that. Look, we got a league, man, where they're just outlawing touching the quarterback. The league is so head over heels in love with offense and has made it such a QB-driven league that I think defense still wins championships, but it's less true than it used to be.
Well, I hear you. But we go back to last year, and the Philadelphia Eagles walked into that matchup against the Patriots, and fourth-ranked defense, and the Patriots were great in giving up points, but not great in yardage. They were like 29th. So defense did win that championship as well. But look, Andy Reid rings noise in the NFL in terms of how he scares a defensive coordinator. We get it. But you know who also does that? Sean McVay. Now, he doesn't have the same track record, doesn't have the same tenure. But when you talk about creativity and you talk about making it work, who led the NFL last year in points per game? These Los Angeles Rams, who were last the year before with pretty much the same pieces, and Jeff Fisher at the helm. So you talk about Andy Reid, I get it. You win the age-old argument of a mental genius in offensive respect. But the next level has already arrived, and it's Sean McVay and what he's doing with this team offensively.
Sean McVay may turn out to be the equal of Andy Reid. You may be right. And
Yeah.
it may already have happened. I'm just going to go back again to the entire National Football League, from Roger Goodell on down, has made an announcement. If you're following these officials, it's a quarterback league.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And so Sean McVay and Andy Reid can draw up all kinds of things, everything they want to do, but eventually the ball snaps and the guy with the ball in his hands, one guy, what he did, and it'll happen again this year, what he did yesterday when he just ran around and scrambled around and then just unleashed the laser. And look, Brett Favre is probably maybe a guy I could have put on that list, but he's not as athletic as Patrick Mahomes.
I'll give you that.
And so I don't think he could do that play. And so there's only, that's a dime on the run when you're out of breath, when you should have lost your mind, you've done a little circle. Occasionally Russell Wilson does this, but he doesn't have that arm. This kid is different and special. And so McVay may be Andy Reid's equal.
Yeah, he is.
But you've already conceded, and nobody's going to compare Jared Goff to Patrick Mahomes. And this league is so quarterback-centric and frenzy. And look, I know people. The Chiefs have been a great regular season team and can't get it done in the postseason. And that has been, no disrespect to Alex Smith or anybody that's played quarterback there before, they didn't have that special guy in his prime at quarterback.
Okay.
That's what's going to make a difference in the postseason.
I hear you, but the argument falls short, and you should have caught this when you were writing up the argument. You're now making a correlation that because the NFL and its initiatives to protect offenses, especially the quarterbacks, that if you have a tremendous quarterback, guess what? You're going to win it all, or you're going to have a great success at doing it. If that's the case, why did Nick Foles win a Super Bowl? If that's the case, all we have to do is do a quarterback power ranking and saying that is the best teams in the NFL. And last time I checked, Green Bay is not sitting there saying we have multiple championships with Aaron Rodgers. So if that's been the case of the NFL protecting that position, and Aaron Rodgers uniformly is known as the best quarterback in the league, where are more championships for Green Bay?
Mike McCarthy isn't Andy Reid.
That's
and I'm not going to diss Mike McCarthy. He's won a Super Bowl, not Andy Reid. A lot of guys. To me, like what I'm seeing from Cam Newton this year, now that Norv Turner's over there, it's made me feel like they finally have it right in Carolina with the offensive coordinator. But a lot of guys get paired with the wrong head coach, the wrong coordinator. Look how Matt Ryan has struggled with Sarkisian after Kyle Shanahan.
Not always a Belichick Brady out there. I get it.
So Patrick Mahomes has landed with the ideal coach who handled him beautifully, sitting him behind Alex Smith for a season. Put all these, from Travis Kelce to Tyreek Hill to Kareem Hunt. I didn't like the Sammy Watkins move. Now I love it. They got so many weapons and so many pieces. The offensive line is good enough. I love my Kansas City Chiefs.
I love your Kansas City Chiefs as well, but as much as we're talking about how prolific they are offensively, we're still seeing a Rams team that's getting better offensively and is still higher ranked in terms of its offensive production than even your Kansas City Chiefs. You guys outscore them, which is the most important statistic. But if you look at all the categories, the Rams are even better on all levels. Got to respect that.
I think the Chiefs played the toughest yesterday. All right, welcome back. I'm Jason Whitlock. He is that dude. Time for some big stories. Let's start in Detroit, where the Lions took down the Patriots last night 26-10, with Bill Belichick getting dominated by his old defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, in every phase of the game. Tom Brady and the Pats offense looked totally anemic, and the Patriots have now lost back-to-back games by double digits for the first time since 2002. Marcellus,
Yes,
I
sir.
told you last week we in the season of destruction for Bill Belichick, and they got destroyed last night.
Yeah.
This is not going to end well for Bill Belichick and the Patriots. The intangibles, that little extra oomph that Belichick was responsible for all those guys believing him and him so much, it's gone. Everybody wants to. I want to. Before I let you go, I want to quote.
Okay.
Bill Belichick's former right-hand man, Michael Lombardi,
Former,
works now
though.
for the Athletic.
Former. We ain't cool like that.
Here's what he said. Last night, after getting humiliated and beaten down by the winless Lions, 26-10, many around the NFL are yet again suggesting that the end is now near. And this time, for the first time, I have my doubts things will get better.
All those words. And
I rest my case.
Yeah. Put your case to sleep. That's what you need to do. Forget resting it. All I heard from his former right-hand man, you know what that sounds like, is yet again. And you've said it so many times, and you said it last week because everyone wants to be first, not right. The Patriots' demise, the Patriots, it's over. Yet again, I shall kill that argument with numbers. And as we see, the Patriots have been in this position, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 5, not 6, but 7 times the New England Patriots have started off a season 2-2 or worse. And each of those times previous, in the 6 times, we saw them win the division. Who knows what happens this year? And we also saw of those 6 times, 3 of them were Super Bowl championship runs. So unless Jason Whitlock really wants to go there and say, the undefeated Miami Dolphins are the team to beat, or the Josh Allen Buffalo Bills, you saw what they did in Minnesota, they're going to do it to every team, or the New York Jets, who knows who they are, up or down, is the plane in the air or is it on the ground? Unless Jason Whitlock's going there, I'm going to say hold your horses. New England's going to be just fine.
I get hold your horses, but just fine is just too strong when they're counting on Josh Gordon to fix their problem.
That's not it. You skipped over Julian Edelman. Don't do that. And you know that's his favorite target. And he opens up the field for him. He's dynamic. Not necessarily the deep threat all the time, but dynamic. He opens up things.
Marcellus, I'm just surprised you're going with numbers rather than your eyes. Did you watch that game last night? Watch Detroit. Detroit hadn't had a 100-yard rusher since Billy Sims.
Right. With the Jerry curl.
With the Jerry.
Yeah, right.
They just shoved it down New England's throat defensively.
Yeah.
Had their first 100-yard rusher, I think in 70 games. It was an NFL record. There's a problem in New England that extends beyond Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon, any fix on offense. That defense is a problem. I think their emotional energy is a problem. I think we do have the sound of Gronk admitting in the post-game locker room yesterday that he wanted to be traded. He wanted to be traded.
He didn't want to be traded.
He was going to
retire.
He was going to retire rather than be traded. Let's play that sound.
Right.
And Brady's my quarterback. That's all. Wasn't going anywhere without Brady.
Things are not hunky-dory in the Patriots locker room, man. When you got a core guy like Rob Gronkowski say, I drew a line in the sand with this organization and Bill Belichick. He wants to get rid of everybody. He thought about trading me, and I would have rather retired. He drew a line in the sand.
And in multiple years, they have given him not only increases in guarantees, but increases in incentives. So this happened 2 years in offseason. We didn't report it the year before. Because this was a Super Bowl championship team. Let's stop talking. You know what? I did use my eyes yesterday. you need LASIK because I didn't see Patrick Chung. Did you see him playing? I didn't see Trey Flowers out there. Did you see him playing? Did you see Eric Rowe out there? Because I certainly
It's always been next man up in that organization.
Next crew up, next string up. That's 3 of their core players right there. And also, when you look at the Patriots, you made a great argument. They've never been talent-based in their success. So when people are now saying, I expect their demise because of talent, that's never been the driving force or the engine for this team. So, look, they're not the most talented team. They never have been. They don't even proclaim to be. But they figured things out, especially Foxborough December, especially when they win the division, especially when they only have to win those 2 games and find themselves in the Super Bowl. It's just the way it goes.
They don't believe in their coach. Curtains. It's over. All right, to a big story tonight with Ryan Fitzpatrick and the red-hot Buccaneers hosting the ice-cold Pittsburgh Steelers. This game has no shortage of drama on both sides, with our buddy Jay Glazer reporting that Fitzpatrick will keep the starting job unless he falls apart tonight. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh is reportedly shopping running back Le'Veon Bell and still dealing with the aftermath of Antonio Brown's no-show at a meeting last week. There's just chaos in Pittsburgh, chaos in Pittsburgh. I don't expect Pittsburgh to play well tonight.
Oh, really? So,
I expect the headline tomorrow, the story tomorrow is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 3-0, and for the first time in 10, 11 years, I think Tomlin's been the coach, there's going to be real heat on Mike Tomlin about the start of this season and how poorly they've played. I don't see the Pittsburgh Steelers fixing themselves. The conversation tomorrow is about the heat on Mike Tomlin.
No, let's go down to Tampa. The headlines in Tampa is going to be loss and found. And LOSS, they lost. Tampa's going to lose. And Pittsburgh found their way. Pittsburgh figured it out because of the chaos, because of the adversity, because of this us against the world mentality. We saw Buffalo went through a lot of turmoil this week and came out and shocked the world, in part because of that me against the world mentality. And the Steelers are better than the Buffalo Bills as a team and better with this adversity. 2010, Roethlisberger, remember the first 4 games suspended? Just came out 12-4, reached Super Bowl. Last year, Roethlisberger, I'm quitting, I'm retiring. I throw 5 interceptions in the game. Who knows? I'm not good at all. I can't play football. Just went out there and won 13 games. So, look, I'm almost using a New England argument, but with a more talented roster. They will find their way. And Fitzpatrick, I do not wish him harm. He will regress to the mean sooner or later. I think that this is a perfect opportunity for Pittsburgh. Get away from home. Get away from all that noise. Go on a road. Stay in a hotel. Face that adversity, face on, and go out there and beat a good team.
I think the one thing you're overlooking, because look, Pittsburgh is talented. They will circle the wagons. Right. I think one thing you may be overlooking, though, is Tampa's no joke.
Oh, yeah, I'll give you that.
This is not a fluke team that's riding a Ryan Fitzpatrick hot streak. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's hot because he's surrounded by so much talent that it's hard not to be hot. Deshaun Jackson's playing at a high level. This team on the defensive side of the ball, I think what the Pittsburgh's going to run into is Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to play really well tonight.
I give you that part. I give you that.
Because he feels like I'm trying to hold on to this job and max out this opportunity. Then I also just think as a team, Tampa is going to try to make a big announcement about who they are and we're ready to win this year. And so I think this Monday night game, Monday night's lost a little bit of its luster, but not for Tampa Bay and this team. This is going to feel like Sunday Night Football. They feel like they have a big announcement to make about, I know you're all focused on the Rams and Philadelphia is the defending champions, but we have a lot to say in the NFC. I'm expecting Tampa to play really well, and that's going to be a problem for a Pittsburgh team that if you go look at that tape of them playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, they just had mental miscue after mental miscue against the Kansas City Chiefs in that passing game, and it's going to continue tonight.
I mean, but I'm not going to use that as a sample size. You just told me that Kansas City is a dynasty in the making right now, and that's the best team in the NFL. So, look, you said everything good about the Bucs, and not once did you mention that defense. You know why? Because you know how sorry it is.
No, I don't believe that.
Well, the numbers say it. Last in pass defense. You put Antonio Brown back against the wall, people calling him a malcontent, Big Ben, and you sit there and say, here are the ingredients. You get to go out there and make some gumbo against that team. Last last in pass defense, 31st in total defense. Oh, they're going to make some noise, and it's going to be some good cooking out there. So I think Tampa Bay, still good, still great performance by Fitzpatrick. They come up a little short.
All right, welcome back. Marcellus and I are joined now by Fox Sports golf analyst Tim Brando. Tim, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
As you all know, I'm a journalist, and we've got our resident Ivy Leaguer, Marcellus, here. So we're going to put on our thinking caps and take a deeper look at some of the big issues in sports. We've got a special cap for the Columbia grad. Darnell, bring in Marcellus's cap. Bring it on. There we go. There. Tim, I'm sorry you have to put up with this. Marcellus thinks he's smarter than everybody else.
You like my halo?
Yeah.
I've got a halo.
I went to the Ivy League of the Midwest, Ball State. All right, let's move to Tiger Woods.
Stop it.
Who capped off a remarkable comeback season by beating the best players in the world to win the Tour Championship, his first victory in over 5 years. The scene Sunday felt like a vintage Tiger win with massive galleries and TV ratings through the roof as everyone tried to get in on something that seemed impossible less than a year ago. But what's really behind all the hoopla and celebration? It's not Tiger Woods, it's history. We have a cultural obsession with history, witnessing it, being on the right side of it, documenting it. There's no love affair with Tiger Woods. Most people aren't rooting for Tiger. He hasn't changed. Fans are rooting for themselves. They want to be a part of history. They're looking for another selfie to post on social media. We don't enjoy moments. We document them for Facebook and Instagram. That explains the huge ratings and the crowds stampeding the golf course. What say you, Marcellus?
Well, I could understand where you're coming from. The ego's involved in all of our fan interests, but the ego was also involved in our fan interest in Tiger in the late 90s, early 2000s, before social media. So this is a situation and dynamic, a phenomenon that occurred pre-social media. And when you talk about someone's rooting interest, they're always selfish. They're always personal. Where am I from? What is my family like? What's my dad like? And in an individual sport, it's different than a team sport. You're not rooting for laundry out there. You're not just rooting for what's on the front of a jersey. You're rooting for that individual. So Tiger has that gallery only because Tiger has been someone we've been loving from day one and will continue to love until he completely falls off the cliff. And it looks like now he hasn't.
Brando, I say there's no love affair with Tiger. There's just a love affair with him breaking the Jack Nicklaus record.
You're both wrong, okay? And I'm going to try to be nice because like Luke Bryan still sings today, the great country singer, I believe most people are good, okay? I'm going to ask you to try to take your cynical hat off, which, by the way, when you do take the hat off, Jason, you look a lot better in the studio. I'm just saying. But let me take it a step further, okay? Let me take it a step further, all right? There's a whole lot of folks out there that while Tiger Woods was at his greatest, really despised him, were very critical of him, didn't like him, looked for ways not to like him. That polarization of him is what helped the ratings for golf go through the roof. He was one of those guys that you could root either very much for or very much against, combination of both. And I'm going to suggest to you that now, even the sharpest critics of Tiger Woods will tell you that this is the greatest comeback in the history of sport, whether it's team sport or individual sport, that we've seen, and certainly in my 4 decades of covering sports at a national level. What he did systematically throughout this comeback is absolutely off the charts. And I know what you're saying. This isn't a major. This isn't the U.S. Open where he made a triple bogey on the opening hole and really shot himself out of the tournament in what we were covering back in June. This isn't also the Players' Championship. But you know what? It is the Tour Championship. And he was within an eyelash away from winning the FedEx Cup, which tells you a lot about what was happening to his opponents yesterday, including Justin Rose, who did win the Tour Championship by an eyelash. They were responding the way to Tiger, the way the players did 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I didn't expect that to happen. So what Tiger Woods did was transcendental yet again. And I absolutely think that it's the best thing that could have ever happened to golf, not only because he did it in the Tour Championship, but he did it on a Sunday, opposite NFL games. I mean, this is legit.
Listen,
completely legit what he did,
Tim, I want to stop you. You're long-winded. I'm going to stop you here because you said something very interesting that I completely disagree with, and I want your reaction, Marcellus. He called this the greatest comeback in sports history, and I'm a Tiger Woods homer. Okay. But I got to go to boxing when I talk about greatest comebacks of all, and I'm going to give you two things. I'm going to give you George Foreman winning the title at damn near 50 or however old he was. I can't remember. And then, and this is a different kind of comeback, but for Muhammad Ali in the post after being kicked out of boxing for 3 years, and I know this didn't happen immediately after he got kicked out of boxing, but for Muhammad Ali to get his best victory of his entire career against George Foreman in Zaire, post having the prime of his career taken away from him, that's a better comeback than Tiger Woods and winning a big tournament event that only had 30 golfers in it, Tim. Right. So I just think those two things bigger.
Right. Well, look, I think this definitely trumps George Foreman. I think it rests comfortably right behind Muhammad Ali. Interesting that Tim made a great point, and I have to respect that the polarization of an athlete is probably the greatest way to become popular nowadays. Floyd Mayweather certainly has capitalized on this same thing. You either love him or you love to hate him. Either way it goes, highest pay-per-views ever.
That's the best way to become popular, is become polarized.
No,
Michael Jordan wants a word with you, but go ahead.
Oh, Michael Jordan's not polarizing?
No, not in his heyday he wasn't.
Well, he's polarizing right now, and those shoes are still selling, so you tell me. But here's the thing. His impact not only is being translated through the gallery, through the crowds, but the economy. Like when Tiger Woods was at his peaks, at his power, 2000, they said that golf's industry was constructing facilities to the tune of $5.5 billion. When he started to fall off, it has now dropped to $210 million. I just want to give you those numbers to just sit back and say, what is the reasoning behind that? And there's only one person, Tiger Woods.
Go ahead, Tim.
Let me be more succinct. Let me be more succinct for you this time. Your pugilistic comparison, your pugilistic comparison falls short. It does, because Muhammad Ali had some help socially, and it came from a broadcaster, Howard Cosell. There were those out there that were really trying to help him. I think when Tiger Woods hit rock bottom, when he was pulled off the side of the road in Florida and thought he was in California, I don't know how many people were there to pick him up. Certainly no one in the media was there to pick him up. But the comparison to George Foreman is a lot more spot on than Muhammad Ali. George Foreman, after he lost to Jimmy Young, not Muhammad Ali, he fell rock bottom when he lost to Jimmy Young. He said he saw the light. It was a biblical circumstance for him. He found the Lord Jesus Christ. Say what you want about all of that, no matter what faith you have or who your God may be up above. This thing that's happened with Tiger Woods, without bringing faith into it, does bring about, I think, the startling comparison between privilege and entitlement. Tiger Woods was raised to be the next Gandhi by his father, and I think a lot of people took umbrage to that. Nike paid him so much money, it didn't matter when he got his first tour win. He had already become a millionaire. That also disenfranchised him from a number of people. Now, at 42, with a sense of perspective, entitlement is gone because Tiger didn't know if he could get it back. And when you saw that response at the 72nd hole yesterday and you saw him tearing up, I'm telling you, that was genuine. Tiger Woods was at his worst, generally, in his prime after he won. He was curt with the press. He didn't want to have much time with them. His agent Steinberg was just on the other side of the camera saying, hurry this along, will you? We're ready to go. Tiger Woods is everything but that now. And that's what has made him such an endearing personality. And I think this version of him is the best we've ever seen. And I do think it trumps Ali. I really do.
Liz, when he wins a major again, I might be right there with Tim. But winning this event and the reaction to the win rings a bit inauthentic to me because I'm just telling you, That crowd that's stampeding the course, that's about their moment. I don't think it's about a celebration of Tiger Woods. I think it's a celebration. I was here when Tiger Woods won for the first time in 5 years. What, Tim? What?
Wait a minute.
What
was the last picture of a golfer that you ever saw that looked remotely similar on the 72nd hole, Jason? I'll pause for a second because I know you don't remember.
Take 2 seconds. He doesn't.
Tim, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's the history that he's carrying.
1960, the British Open Championship, Arnold Palmer, who was bringing American golf and greatness across the pond to St. Andrews, where golf began. That was the last time we saw, and that gallery wasn't concerned about social networking or getting their picture in front of it. They just knew greatness when they saw it. And what we witnessed yesterday wasn't just great for sport or Tiger Woods. That was the winning spirit of golf, and golf imitating life, which is a sport that does, in fact, imitate life, the roller coaster ride that we're all on. And this version of who he is everything that we all wanted him to be, and he never was until now.
And that's why Tiger Woods had the effect he did. It's because he brought a personality to the most elite sport of all that had exclusivity to the point where they would even suppress your personality. The first sport I was ever introduced to was golf. 1979, I'm 5 years old playing golf. I remember 6, 7, 8 years old before I touched the football, before I ran track, before I played basketball. I made a 40-footer one day, and I got silently yelled at by all those older white men and my black father who said, that's not how we play this game. And Tiger Woods was introduced to the game with that spirit, that fire. He made it more than sport. He made it a game like basketball and football and personality. And that's what really became the engine behind his greatness, is that we finally saw someone living and enjoying the experience. It was different.
I agree with you 1,000% there in terms of Tiger Woods is one of the few guys in sports that has made me cry consistently. First time he won the Masters, I cried real tears talking to my father. It's one of the greatest moments of my sports fan life. I guess I'm saying my passion for Tiger is more authentic, in my view, than all those people stampeding the course. They just want to see his, and all those golfers, and I told Tim this earlier today, all those golfers that were waiting on Tiger after he finished his 72nd hole, all those guys had cash registers in their eyes because they're thinking, Tiger just made us a bunch more money. The ratings are going to go through the roof and all that other stuff. Yeah. But it's the history that Tiger represents. I still don't believe, and that Tim knows better than I do, I still don't believe Tiger's beloved right now. I think Tiger is, people are in awe and want to be a part of this history.
Yeah, but he's flipping people, Jason. You were in awe of him.
Yeah.
You were a Tiger Woods admitted homer.
Yes.
I was the cynic of Tiger Woods. I didn't like what I saw off of the golf course. And I think what he figured out, you could be dominant on the golf course and still be a lonely man, even though you were transcendental as a personality. Your approach to the game had everyone around the world talking. In the end, when he hit rock bottom, he was lonely, he was by himself. He had been beaten up not only in that driveway the weekend of the Iron Bowl. I remember having to tell that story on a Saturday at the Iron Bowl, Auburn playing Alabama, what had happened at Windermere. And it was one of the saddest, most difficult things I can ever remember having to do, interrupting a football game to tell everyone that we had something similar to an O.J. chase.
No, it's not quite O.J.
Wait. Tiger Woods' home.
Yeah, not quite O.J. We got his wife attacking him with a golf club.
No, but I'm saying it was a sad thing to see. It was a sad thing to see. And look how he's rebounded.
All right, Tim, we got to go.
The best I've ever seen in my life.
Really appreciate you doing this. You made the segment. Thank you, Tim. All right, welcome back. Marcellus and I are joined now by Fox NFL analyst Tony Gonzalez and Super Bowl champion James Harrison. Let's move to the Packers and Clay Matthews. A week after a ridiculous roughing the passer penalty against Matthews caused Green Bay a win, Matthews was flagged for an even more ridiculous roughing the call this week against the Redskins. The linebacker showed his frustration on the field, but saved some for after the game as well.
Unfortunately, this league's going in a direction I think a lot of people don't like. I think they're getting soft. And, the only thing hard about this league is the fines that they levy down on guys like me who play the game hard. So, obviously when you're tackling a guy from the front, you're going to land on him. I understand the spirit of the rule. I said that, weeks prior. But when you have a hit like that, that's a football play. I even went up to Alex Smith after the game, asked him, what do you think? What can I do differently? Because that's a football play.
It's a ridiculous penalty. The league has to do something. They're losing their core supporters. I looked at football players, broadcasters on air all yesterday. Nobody could defend these calls. As I don't know what they're doing to the game, but they've overreacted. Aaron Rodgers got fell on. Quarterbacks have been getting fallen on for years. One guy gets hurt, and we got to change the whole damn sport of football. This is ridiculous.
Well, I wasn't on the air yesterday, but I would have defended the call, so you should have called me up, and then I could have broke it down for you. First of all,
how you gonna defend this call?
First of all, I'm tired of football players stating the obvious. The league is getting soft. They're protecting the quarterback. Yeah, we know what drives this engine of the economy of football. They're trying to make it flag football. So stop saying that the league is getting soft. You're stating the obvious. Go into a library and say, man, everybody here quiet.
What's he supposed to do, Marcellus?
Everybody in here quiet right
What's
now.
he supposed to do?
You know what he's supposed to do? As incentive shape behavior, and you know the rules, change your behavior. It's just that simple. So here's the thing.
On that play, how is he?
On that play right there, look, this is how I say it. Because everyone is going to say Clay Matthews can't do anything different. Make that your quarterback.
It don't matter. I don't
Make that
care
your
if
quarterback.
it's my quarterback or not.
Can you tackle him a different way? It's just my simple answer. And
Only thing I say he might have been able to do was put his hand out to try and stop some of the force. I could see him saying, okay, he laid too much on him, maybe too much of his body weight.
And that's the rule right there, Jay.
I understand that, but you can't have that rule. That rule needs to be changed because
Okay.
you can't go into every game and try and stop a person from making a tackle when you're already in full force. You're going, and your opportunity is to get him to the ground as fast as you can so that he don't have an opportunity to throw the ball. So you got players that are actually hitting and tackling guys, and they see the motion of the throw, but he don't release it, but they don't know. They got him, wrapped him up, but he don't let the ball go, but they let him go in fear of getting a rough in the penalty.
Boy.
And then it's another ball thrown to another receiver, and he makes a play, and now you look like a fool because you let him go.
Eerily similar to the target area. We can't change. How we going to change where we hit a guy?
can't.
And then they figure their way out, or else them
You
flags
start blowing
gonna fall
out
on them
knees.
fines.
Guys start getting their knees hit.
Yeah, but
right now you got guys getting their knees hit.
What is the alternative, though? I just looking at it. First of all, I think it's real important for people to understand why. And you touched on it a little bit, though. But if we go to the movies, the reason Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, they get paid $25 million is because they're superstars. This is what the NFL quarterback is. We don't care. The movie could be just as good with a different actor, but nobody's going to watch it. Look at Garoppolo. He got hurt yesterday. The executives are
out of
going
his
crazy.
stupidity.
Out of his stupidity. But I'm just talking about now that franchise quarterback is gone. People don't want to watch that anymore. They're
Put
doing
a
this
buzzer
to
on
protect
him,
these
and
quarterbacks.
it's a contact buzzer. As soon as my hand hit him, he down. Let's do that.
That's coming.
Let's do that.
You're
I'm
ahead of
just
your
saying,
time,
like, I'm
James.
just
That's
saying,
coming.
Let's do that. Because to make a defender to actually, like, you're going to tackle somebody. Like, I'm going to tackle you. And you're a quarterback of that size or any size. I'm trying to get you down as fast as I can. I want to get you to the ground. So me to try and the last two steps, they're slowing it down at 1/100th of a second, and you're like, oh, he could have did this, he could have done it. Yeah, anybody could do that at that pace.
This is what they want. They remember before when we were growing up, the football that we
Oh,
grew up
yeah,
with.
the grinding.
Okay, you can't maliciously hurt
That's not
anybody.
what-
anywhere.
that's-
You
have
saying
to-
that was
You have
malicious?
to accidentally hurt. That's what the rule. That's what
Was
they
that
want.
malicious?
That wasn't egregious, but you know what it is?
It wasn't.
It's still beyond the borders of what they define and what they expect. So
If they
look,
define, man, can't nobody play football. You can't put your head on any part of somebody else. That means anytime you make a tackle,
Here's
with your
my
head
problem.
touching them, it's a flag.
Here's my problem.
It's coming.
You can fall on running backs, you can fall on tight ends, you can fall on wide receivers, but you can't fall on quarterbacks.
No.
I'm sorry. That's got to stop. They're not, and I
disagree
get that
with
they're
that.
more valuable, but show me other than Aaron Rodgers, show me the video of all these quarterbacks that's getting hurt because somebody fell on top of them.
Okay, flip your argument on his head, and this is why you know that you guys are on the wrong side of this conversation. Okay, let him hit the quarterback any way he wants to.
That's not what we're arguing.
Okay, well, land on the quarterback with all your body weight. DDT him, whatever you want to do. Whatever it is, I know, I've been in that circumstance. You have too. We know when there's a shell practice. We know when there's a red shirt practice. We know, hey, I can get there and touch you. I can get there and bring you down. I can get there and send a message. I can do all those things because I am highly trained as a professional. We were all trained how to tackle. retrain yourself to tackle differently, or take the fines and take the punishments because they're coming.
Listen, you're absolutely. I don't agree with you on this. Not even a little bit.
I'm glad you're over there.
You way out of line, man. It's no way you could tell me that it's all up to the defender to change how he's tackling someone. I'll give you a prime example.
I do agree with that point.
The league is doing what they're trying to do to try and make player safety and all that stuff better and all that. Yeah. And they're protecting the quarterbacks because they want to see points and the quarterbacks throw balls and score points. I gave them an impossible situation when I went there to see Roger Goodell and the whole panel of ridiculous referees and everything else. Right. I said, if I'm going in to tackle a guy, I said at the last second, he drops his head down to his feet, and I'm trying to tackle him by his shoestrings, and my head hits his helmet, that's my fault. He said, yeah, you're going to be fine. They don't really care, dude.
I've been there. Look, $10,000 fine on Peyton Manning. Bruce Smith hit him low. All of a sudden, 6'6" turns into 6'1", and I tear his head off. And I had to pay the $10,000. But you know what it did? It also made me acutely aware every time I got around a quarterback, bring him down, but make sure I try to stay out of harm's way in terms of the fines and the punishment. It's just a retraining, but we're going through that process.
This is this year's catch rule.
Yeah, it's always like
that. That's all it is. This year's catch rule.
And it's not football, it's sickening.
They're going to do something. I don't think it's going to stay.
To Seattle, where the Seahawks got their first win of the year, easily beating the Cowboys yesterday with some serious help from Earl Thomas, who snagged 2 interceptions, but the win didn't seem to ease the team's tensions with Thomas, who skipped practices multiple times last week over frustrations about his contract. After the game, Thomas made it clear he was just looking out for number 1.
I need to make sure my body is, 100, and I'm investing in myself. Now, if they was investing in me, I'll be out there practicing. But if I feel like anything, I don't give a damn if it's small, I got a headache, I'm not practicing. But I don't want that to be taken the wrong way. I know I'm gonna get fined.
Do you get concerned ever about the message that sends to the younger players?
No, because they know me. When we're in a room, it's straight business. But they also know that, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be free. I know who I am in this game, especially this game. I'm not about to let anybody take advantage of my God-given abilities.
I get the mentality. I get where he's coming from. Can't say that I like it. I think it's going to be a little bit of a wave of the future. Guy goes out there, doesn't practice all week, gets 2 interceptions, wins the game. I can see a lot of veteran players saying, hell, I don't need to practice either.
Nothing new. What I heard there, a different version of vet rules. Vet rules, when I played, guys would miss Wednesday, sometimes even miss Thursday, go out there and ball out. They weren't upset at the organization. They weren't holding out for a contract. But he is following the trend. It's not one he's setting. It's the one of players with 1 or more years left on their contract, whether it's Khalil Mack, whether it's, you talk about Earl Thomas and others, Aaron Donald. And now I don't want to participate fully because I'm protecting my assets. Not mad at them, but I've seen this in different forms and versions before.
I love this. Yeah. I absolutely love that. Because that's something I would never have done. I would have never have had the moxie to do what he's doing, to do what Le'Veon Bell is doing. When I got franchised in Kansas City, Carl Peterson came in there and said, look, you're going to take this contract or I'm going to keep franchising you. And that's all there is to it. And I said, okay. Even though I feel like I'm worth more money, even though I feel like I should be paid like a receiver, I had to sign it. This guy he is, and I do think it's a wave of the future. The young guys are taking their power back because they realize what they have. I'm anxious to see where this ends up, though, because who's going to win here? Also, too, that's Earl Thomas. He's one of the best in the business. You young players out there, if you don't play like him, don't try to act like him.
You got to be in that position to be able to do that. Yeah. At the end of the day, if he wasn't playing good enough, they would be talking about, let's restructure this, let's lower your pay. He's balling out. Yep. It's time to ante up. And if I'm him, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, protect your assets. I mean, if you think about it, we've all been around if you weren't the one that Wednesday practice, look, man, and then Thursday practice, coach, I'm not feeling so good, but you had your play to support that kind of attitude and that kind of response. But when you ball, you dictate terms. It's a leverage game in all sports. That's nothing new. And Tony, I'm just like you. I was a guy that, hey, I signed a 4-year deal, I'm playing 4 years. I signed a 3-year deal, I'm playing 3 years. Like, I never went upstairs, but I respect the guys who are doing this. But in yesteryear, they did it in a different form, and it wasn't the same contention.
I just worry. We've already reduced NFL practices to virtually nothing. Tony played for Marty Schottenheimer.
Ooh, me too.
Yeah, you played for Marty Schottenheimer as well, them long, hard practices or whatever. As a fan, I'm speaking just as a fan, sometimes I was like, that produced a better brand of football. I think we're headed towards an NFL where we're going to have a lot of guys that just aren't practicing.
Well,
And
you don't have to tackle no more. You can't hit nobody, so you really don't need to practice.
So,
I mean, it's going where it needs to go. Everything is lining up.
right, exactly.
As a fan,
Tackling
I'm not
dummies.
sure if the quality of play is the same as what I used to see.
Oh, I
That's-
think it
that's-
is. I
that's
think
my
it's even
concern.
better.
I don't know. If
I'll
it's
go
because-
there.
I don't know if it's because of lack of practice.
Yeah.
I think that's because of
Practice
the way
makes
the
perfect.
pay scale is. You don't see, there's no middle class in the NFL, it seems, anymore. It's like young players and then really old players because of the pay wages. That's why I think football has slipped.
Hey, they got motorized tackling dummies now, man. The game's changed, bro.
They're dangerous too. Motorized tackling, they're dangerous. Listen, I'm dead serious, dude. They bottom end heavy, they top end light. So if you go to tackle that and you actually tackle it how you're supposed to, you land on your head.
on it.
A couple guys done hit their head in practice, then had to sit out a couple days. Messing with a tackling dummy. Yeah.
Thank our
Message.
two,
Okay.
thank our two future Hall of Famers, James Harrison, Tony Gonzalez. All right, welcome back. Marcellus and I are joined now by Fox NFL analyst Michael Vick. Let's move to the 49ers, who not only lost to the Chiefs yesterday, but also lost their franchise quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, who tore his ACL trying to extend a play and is now out for the year. But he's not the only promising young quarterback having a bad weekend, with Dak Prescott putting on yet another underwhelming performance in a loss to Seattle. All right, 2 years ago, Dak Prescott was the hottest quarterback in football. Last year, at the end of the year, Jimmy Garoppolo, the hottest quarterback in football. If both of these guys have hit an iceberg this year, but if I'm Dallas, I feel far better about my quarterback situation than the San Francisco 49ers. And it's not just the injury. Jimmy Garoppolo, they paid a ton of money, $100 million contract, and he has looked average compared to last year. Holds the ball too long, been a bit inaccurate. He has fallen off and now did a stupid play and has injured himself. Dak Prescott only making $630,000 this year, $720 next year. I feel much better if I'm the Cowboys.
I don't feel much better because Dak Prescott, we made a lot of excuses for Dak Prescott. At first it was, that's Tony Romo's offense, even though he did well in it. So then we said, okay, we got to change that around and then he's going to be fine. Then it's, Ezekiel Elliott, he's out the lineup, but he still had Dez and Witten. And then this year it's like, no Dez and Witten, but everything's fine with little injuries up front, but you know what? He's going to be good. And 9 of the last 11 games, Dak Prescott hasn't even thrown for 200 yards. Yeah. I repeat, 9 of 11. He can't even, those are like rushing yardages. He's going out there 160, 180. I'm like, is that the running back or the quarterback? So I am with Jimmy G. Despite the injury, I'm still seeing a guy who has shown me that he has that electricity to his game. Dak's too conservative, and by the numbers, it shows he's not that great.
I think Dak Prescott is going to go on to have a better year, and I think the fans for the Dallas Cowboys.
Jimmy's not playing the rest of the year. You mean career? Okay, good.
The fans should feel better about Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboy fans, because he's going to go on and get the reps. Like, he's going to get the reps, he's going to get the play, he's going to experience, the highs and the lows of the rest of this season. That's important when you're playing the quarterback position. Jimmy G, what he pulled yesterday, not running out of bounds, even me being a running quarterback, I would have ran out of bounds without hesitation. It was nothing there. So he lose out on the reps, he lose out on the experience. He don't have a ton of experience as it is. So now he has to sit for another year, did his team a disservice by not being responsible. So I think the Cowboys are in a better position. Dak is not surrounded with a lot of talent. They got to work on that. But they got to feed Zeke from here on out, so I think they're in a better position.
That's the problem. He had Zeke yesterday. Zeke ran for 100 plus.
They got to feed him more.
And they fed him, and he was rolling, and they still couldn't get Dak going. Look, if we had the same conversation last year, and it was Dak or Carson Wentz after Carson Wentz got the injury, I understand the injury should affect your choice, but I'm still saying Carson Wentz. I'm looking at this the same way. Jimmy GQ has shown me more in those few games than Dak has in totality.
Carson Wentz put a season together.
He did.
For the most part. He got injured at the end of it. Jimmy G put 5 games together last year.
7 total.
3 average games this year.
Yeah.
And what Mike's point is, he's going to miss out on a full year of development early in his career. And now when he comes back, the whole aura around him is gone. He's
all the excitement.
He runs with the porn stars.
Hey.
He's changed his play on the field, has changed his image. the magic around Jimmy G is gone, and he's going to be saddled with that $100 million worth of expectations. I think Dak, if the Cowboys had went out and got Calvin Ridley, a wide receiver, and provided Dak some pieces, I still think you can put pieces around Dak and get something out of him.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about Jimmy.
And the thing about Jimmy G, last year, the San Francisco, they didn't have a winning record when he stepped in. It's so much easier to play when you're
no expectations.
2-7, and there's no expectations. You can come in, you can make some mistakes, throw some picks. The press is not really on. It was all upside for him.
But what about the expectations? Didn't everyone say Jimmy G was going to struggle through the first film cycle, the first 4 games? Like everyone said, you had 9 months to study this dude finally. Like coordinators are sitting there saying, and we're going to get after them.
I thought he was going to come out and light it up.
Yeah?
I'm being honest. I thought he was going to pick up where he left off, for sure.
Listen, defensive coordinators aren't making him hold on to the football. A defensive coordinator didn't say, hey, don't run out of bounds here, run into that DB. Though Jimmy G makes some bad decisions, including who he hangs out with in Beverly Hills. He's not a good decision
Worst decision is when you're on the sideline, that's the 12th man. That is another defender. You better either run out of bounds or that dude's going to hurt you because somebody else is coming for you.
All right, welcome back. All right, Marcellus, I can't stand what's happening out there in social media land. Right. Got my Twitter off ready. We got our social media manager here, Darnell Smith. Try to convince me.
Yes.
Social media is not so bad. What's up, Darnell?
Not yet.
Central.
Not yet.
Big victory.
Looking good. David Bell, another big game.
Keep going with the victory talk. Ball State wins.
We had a rough weekend.
And Columbia is undefeated, huh? Just want to get that out there.
All right, what you got, Darnell?
Yeah, let's start with the team you guys just talked about, the 49ers, who recently just lost Jimmy Garoppolo to a torn ACL suffered in their loss to the Chiefs. San Francisco signed Jimmy G to a huge deal this offseason, which made most of their fans forget about their former franchise QB, Colin Kaepernick. But now that Jimmy's on the shelf, Twitter is bringing up Cap's name again. Writer Sean Powell tweeted, the 49ers have gotten a pass from the public about Kaepernick. Let's see what happens now with Jimmy G out. Do you guys think Twitter will actually turn the Jimmy G injury into a Kaepernick debate?
I think they'll try to, but it won't work. I just don't think this will be successful. Even though Woke City, San Francisco's Woke City, and Kaepernick would be the perfect mascot to be their quarterback. So, if Kaepernick made sense anywhere, it would be in San Francisco.
Would it?
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to make this much of an argument, more than they do any other place. Look, he had his time in San Francisco. There was a time where he didn't want to be in San Francisco, so I think that could be in favor of the organization if they want to diffuse this. But look, we all know, by the numbers, by the performance, he's better than a lot of the quarterbacks playing and on rosters, but I don't think he's going to land in San Francisco because of court of public opinion. Nope.
All right, let's go on before I say something stupid.
Right, Twitter off you.
Yeah, right. Here's another angle to this Jimmy G injury.
Yeah.
Check out this tweet someone sent you, Whitlock.
Yeah.
With advice for a new nickname for Garoppolo, should we grant Jimmy G the new moniker of JG3 after his ill-advised RG3-like attempt to run over a defender? Y'all think his nickname is mean, or is this guy just keeping it real?
Dude, I love this tweet. J.R. Taylor sent it to me. I hadn't thought of this, but JG3 makes a lot of sense. Both wearing number 10 and both of them stupidly just trying to do too much with their legs.
Yeah, for real. He got a new follower in me. I'm following him. He might have some more genius I'm about to bring up on this show. We need some opposite of Twitter off. Like some, Vaseline or something? we got to rub, get some lotion or something. We got to rub something. This is beautiful. JG3. I love Jimmy GQ. I still go with that, especially when you're hanging out in Beverly Hills with who you hang with. But JG3
Jimmy
is amazing.
G-Strings is the best nickname.
No, I don't want to be called Jimmy G-String. Jimmy GQ if you go give me something. But that's amazing. Good job, JR.
What's up, Darnell?
Yeah,
What's next?
Let's talk about the biggest upset of the weekend, the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Who beat the Minnesota Vikings for their first win in the season.
Right.
Buffalo have been the laughing stock in their first 2 games, both on the field and in the locker room, where defensive back Vontae Davis retired at halftime last week. But now that the Bills are winners again, Bleacher Report put out a video mocking the situation, mixing it with a famous scene from Seinfeld. Check this out.
What are you doing here?
What?
Am I crazy? Or didn't you quit?
Oh, what, that? Are you kidding? I didn't quit. Why, you took that seriously.
Now, that wasn't the only post mocking Vontae after the Bills win. Will Vontae ever live this down?
Hell no. No, you ain't gotta live it down. I mean, you're a pioneer of quitting. I mean, nobody's like his face is forever connected to this. But look, you never should quit on Buffalo. The Bills Mafia, first of all, with that fan base, this is what's so bad about it. That fan base loves you, adores you. They think I was one of the greatest players ever the longer I'm retired. Like, they just, we love you, because that's how they are up there in Orchard Park. You don't quit on the Mafia, so they're never gonna let them live down. So that's your life, bro.
This might be the new Jordan meme, in terms of Vontae Davis quitting, but he's not famous enough, I guess, probably to replace the Jordan meme.
Yeah.
I do think we're going to see a lot of this, and no, I don't think Vontae will be living this down anytime soon.
Ever.
Yeah. Ever. What's next, Darnell?
Yes, Josh Rosen was just named the starter in Arizona, but I wanted to hear what y'all thought about his debut. The UCLA product became the last first-round QB to see action this year, and it didn't go well. Despite the rousing ovation he got from the fans, Rosen promptly threw an interception that sealed the game for the Bears. The decision to put Rosen into a close game in the fourth quarter raised some eyebrows on Twitter, too. Football writer Chris Brown posted, "Still can't believe the coach of the Arizona Cardinals put in Josh Rosen for his first ever NFL game action and told him to engineer an 80-yard game-winning drive against Khalil Mack in the Bears pass rush. It's like he was hazing Rosen." Does he have a point?
Yeah, if you look up throwing someone under the bus in the dictionary, Steve Wilkes is right there.
Right.
This is not the way and again, someone over the internet said, baptize Josh Rosen, and then it's like, hold on, Josh Rosen's a Jew, is Jewish. I'm not sure he's getting baptized. But I don't know if this is the way you introduce this guy to professional football. This seemed very unfair to Josh Rosen.
Very unfair, desperate, not well thought out. Because if you're trying to protect a young rookie, that's why you don't put him in these situations. But if everybody knows he's better than Sam Bradford, we get it. So you were trying to protect him, and then you're like, we down right here. I don't want to lose my job, but he could lose his confidence. Go out there, boy. And Sam Bradford's sitting there like, hey, I don't want no parts of that. And now we know that he's going to get the opportunity. Josh Rosen's named the starter going forward. That's how you prepare.
This is one thing, just very quickly here, that people don't talk about. Sometimes coaches panic. We see players and we go, oh my God, he choked, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes coaches choke and panic. And that's what happened here with Steve Wilkes.
You know how many times I've been in a film session and coach is like, that's my bad. I put you in bad. I'm like, will you tell the world? I don't need to hear that right here. You got me looking bad to the world.
All right, Darnell, what's next?
Finally, let's go to Marcellus' fashion icon, Cam Newton, who celebrated the Panthers' win over the Bengals by wearing yet another outrageous outfit to his post-game presser. As always, Twitter went to town on it. Cam Newton looks like the ringleader for a crappy circus inside an amusement park.
Y'all ain't right.
Cam looks like he's about to tell me to advance to go and collect $200. and a great Chappelle Show reference here. Cam Newton is headed to the player haters ball. You guys like Cam's style here?
Let me tell you something. I watched this game.
Okay.
And I don't care what Cam showed up looking like.
Oh, you going there.
Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey.
Balling.
Yeah, I mean, balling out of control. Cam can wear whatever the hell he wants. He is back to MVP level Cam 3 weeks into the season. Carolina's not undefeated. But I can make an argument. In the NFC, Carolina is the best threat to the Rams.
And I'm listening to that argument. Look at us, first of all. It's like, I can't diss somebody unless I can do better. And I can't.
We can do better than that, Marcellus.
Better than what?
We can do better than that.
Oh, no, Whitlock.
I give
that style.
Whitlock, you better stop. Not you. Nobody on this set right now can diss Cam in terms of how fresh that dude look. And he's taking the risk. That's what I like. Take the risk, brother. Even if he look like the 405.
What picture are y'all looking at?
The 405 101 right there.
He's clean. He's saying trends right now.
He's doing too much right there. Russell Westbrook is looking at that like, come on now, Cam. Back down a little bit.
Slow it down a little bit.
Slow it down.
Better than
but
me.
On the field, hats off to Cam Newton. My God. Playing beautifully from the pocket. Christian McCaffrey, damn near looked like Reggie Bush out there, ran for damn near 200 yards.
Hey, he got Turkish on his hat, though. He got a link on
player, and that's player.
That's player, boy.
All right, today we're talking Tiger Woods, who won the Tour Championship yesterday, his first PGA Tour win in more than 5 years. It looked like Tiger's career was over, and I don't think anyone expected his latest comeback attempt to go as well as it did. So naturally, My rating for Tiger is up. It's up a total of 6 points in job performance from a 14 to a 20. Stayed the same in terms of all-time greatness. He's a touch below Jack Nicklaus. Character, I move him up 1, comeback story, but I knock him 2 points down in authenticity for this, Marcellus. After he wins the match, I didn't like the way he handled it afterwards. I think that's too much.
Too much? What do you mean?
To love you. I mean, how many different girls are you gonna tell I love you, man?
How many times
Let's pump the brakes.
You know how many times
Let's pump the brakes.
I've been
you
engaged.
Gotta tell everybody.
I've been engaged 4 times, brother. So my love yous come out a few times. While
my
you
mother's got a nickname for guys like you, a little tender. But we won't go into it.
Look, I get that part. Look,
74 overall, 74. Hall of All-Star.
God, All-Star, crazy. Not a GOAT, but you know what? I'm guilty as well. Not a GOAT in mine as well. Some things trend up if you look at job performance. 23. This is great when you're seeing Tiger Woods not only on a comeback, but 7 top 10 finishes, twice second. So this is not the only tournament he's won, but not the only tournament he's been in contention. So give him respect there. All-time great, stop it. I will give him a 26, but hey, that's the only we could do is 25.
He's not up there with Jack Nicklaus yet. Continue.
Well, he hasn't won as many majors, but he's still up there. Character, up 3 in likability. Looking at that gallery, whether you say people are there for nostalgia, some people are there say, hey, I got a selfie, whatever reason, likable. He's doing a better job in that. Authenticity, he's the same dude. Like, you fooled me once, shame on who, and fool me
I want to
twice.
nitpick one of your ratings.
I'm listening.
Job performance of 23. What's he going to do when he wins the major? When he wins the Masters, it's only 2 points better than winning the Tour?
Well, it's a relative grade. It's based on the curve of what others are doing. Too many guys are going out there and winning one-offs. Not too many guys are winning consistently out there. So
neither is he. He just won his first one in 5 years.
Exactly, but then the top 10 finishes. So you got to go to the second category in golf, the sport that I first played, that I love. Did you ever play golf growing up? Do you know the nuances of this game?
I do know the nuances, but I never played.
Okay, so look, top 10 finishes matter. He's 7th in money earnings in 2018.
He's like the 13th or 14th rated player in the world right now.
Yeah,
when he gets back in the top 2 or 3, then I'm right there with you.
But he came from being 1,000th ranked. Don't do that to me.